Nature, civilization, the cultivation of all things savage into all things accepted. And when we think of what existed before, what came before the great cities of splendor, the Neverwinters and the Baldur's Gates, we see woods and mountaintops, deserts, raging whitecaps upon the ocean. All of these places have fallen before the crown, before a lady or a lord who wished to cultivate them with civilization. And many of them have held this way. Many of them have been tamed. But when we think of the white caps, the white mountains, the deserts, and the trees and jungles, very rarely do they remember the true place of savagery. The place that has been attempted the same methodology of civilization, the same might of rule of scepter and crown. And every time, it has pushed back, and it has reclaimed itself as the last true bastion of savagery. For this place is not above the ground, it is not a white cap, white mountain, a jungle, forest, or desert. It is below the soil, forgotten, because civilization can't remember so terrible a place. And in darkness it dwells, a darkness that is, of course, the lifeblood and the fruit of all that is chaos. But in this one particular place, in this Undermountain, a torch whistles through the air. And as it moves, its orange and red flame threatening to go out. If it increases its velocity, it will blow itself asunder. But it plops down and begins to rage again. It illuminates 30 feet by 30 feet, edging with the shadow of the chaos in which it tries to push back, much like a scepter or a crown. But it is not alone, as a large naval rope, probably stained with the same salt sea that is mistaken for savagery on the surface, and this rope hits the sand beside it, and it moves awkwardly, jerking back and forth, swishing in a serpentine pattern through the sand. It passes old bits of copper, bits of life, bits of the fallen, but mostly sand. And as it moves through the sand, almost with an ancient artistry of someone painstakingly drawing a seascape or a poem, it seems to spell out a word. Once, then it swishes. Upon, and it swishes, But before it can finish the thought, 2 white boots smash down beside it. These white boots in pristine condition, no stain, no scuff, hold to their character. And as we, the watchers of this tale, as we witness the pan from tip up, we see that the boots are an indication not only of a light in the darkness, but more so, a ghost returned to the fold. As we bring in our first member of the party, Diurna Hall, you have touched down in a very dark place. But for you, this is as home as the streets above on the City of Splendor. What do you do?
Gianna just sort of shuffles away from the rope, looking up and waiting quietly, kind of an annoyed expression on her face.
Does she look around at her surroundings or simply wait? Is this old hat or...
She just waits.
So, with the arrival of this white witch, as she stands there, there is the flutter of wings, perhaps a creature of this very dark, but as it comes in, we hear a... and a great albino raven plops down into the sand beside. As Hemelig, your familiar, looks up and croaks, "Dark again! Dark again!"
It always gets dark down here. Just ride on my shoulder again.
The talons kind of pinch a bit, but nothing to which you are unaccustomed, as the raven, "Dark again," and the rope begins to move back and forth as another set of boots smash down into the sand. And as these boots smash down, they are simple, brown. The boots of someone with purpose, of someone who needs to be quiet. And as the boots pan up, the next member of our party joins us, as Garnet looks around in unfamiliar surroundings. Lauren, who are we looking at, and what do they do?
So we're looking at an elf. She has red skin with kind of vitiligo that appears as green, like splotches. She has curly red hair and gold eyes. And she, I guess, looks at Dearnay and says, "So you live here?"
You can see in the dark, right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good. I know that, like, at least one of you can't, so...
Yeah, the boss can't, but I don't know, I can just drag him along if we need to.
Bringing light along is always inconvenient when you want to not be killed.
Yeah, well, I mean, humans are really good at getting themselves killed. It's kind of their
just
thing.
leave them alone and they die on their own.
It's true. Just go away for a couple decades and then poof, they're gone.
Oh, well.
So,
as takes a broom off her back and it just sort of hovers and she leans on it.
I will interject for a second so we can get everyone else down here and I can go to a full screen.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. I love it. So I want this to be fully experienced. So as the rope begins to move again, another set of boots hits the ground. These, again, utilitarian, but also a purpose held within the soft leather. And this time, as we pan up, we see not the traditional flesh we might expect, but instead the resplendent scales. Karis, who are we looking at? And what do they do?
As Goddess drops down the rope and hits the bottom of the well, you see really light flowing robes of orange and red, along with a pretty standard breastplate. And and her arms and her head, which are primarily are dark brown, are bared, and you can see all of the gold and glittering scales. And as she steps out from the light beneath where the well opens, mostly all that you can see left of her are her glowing golden snake eyes. And she simply surveys her surroundings and gives a wide grin to her friends. This will be exciting.
And with the grin and the smile and the eyes of gold back and forth, again the rope moves. But this time, there is a thunderous hit as whomever left the rope left high enough or is big enough to create an impact worth the noting. Kyogen lands. Jason, what are we looking at? And what do they do?
So as the dust settles a little bit, you see a large, muscular individual standing 7'4", wearing a sort of a black leather vest with various pockets and buckles and whatnot, that has a hood on it that he pulls back now that he's down the rope. And you see what appears to be someone of a Goliath size, but with ASMR characteristics. Rather than the standard tattoos, he has ritual scarification on his body, wearing black leather pants. He's got long black flowing hair and white eyes, and as he looks beyond the dim torchlight that is barely sort of encompassing the area out into the darkness, though accustomed to the shadows, this is new territory for Kyogen, and he looks at the group and says, "Fear not the darkness, friends. Fear what calls the darkness home."
And as Kyogen makes his proclamation about places bereft of light, again the rope moves for one last time. And as befitting a place of eternal darkness, the last to drop is a knight. Koros, we've got a knight in shining armor here. Who are they, and what do they do?
In the darkness, there's a flash of flint on steel. Once sparks fly. There's a curse and a new spark. And then there's a flicker of fire. And light begins to fill the space, coming from a newly lit torch that's being held aloft by a very large man with long black hair, serious, concerned green eyes, and a large mustache over his face. He's wearing a set of plate adorned with gold, silver, and wine red. On his back, a large shield with a crest of a hand wreathed in silver flame and a single eye in the palm. On his side is a silver-hilted sword. And he looks to the group and then looks to Garnet and to Diarna and says, "You know, with your voices in this well, it tends to carry quite a ways." And he gives them a look, and then starts to look around the base. Anything of note?
And as we bring in everybody else, The company now formed at the bottom of a well. The company can see the following as they look. You are in a chamber, 40 feet by 40 feet, dimly lit around the edges by the torch that was dropped and the torch that was produced by Sir Gorbrin. And you can see that there is this thin coating of sand against the stone. There's a plethora of copper pieces as the patrons of the yawning portal, much like a wishing well, would perhaps wish for life or wish for death or wish for someone to bring them something or for them to have the courage to one day drop down the well themselves. But among the sand is a nice carpet of these wishes and of these coins. But beyond that, as your eyes take in everything, I would like everyone to roll a perception check as the walls of this room are revealed to you.
Perception check.
Okay, so with these scores coming in, Diurna had a 19, or 21, excuse me. Garnet a 12, Koros 18, Jason an 18 with Kyogen, and we've got a natural 20 with Karis. So we will go with Karis. As you look around, and as your golden eyes take in the area with a bit of glee, resting still, the smile held, you notice that along these walls, plastered over every conceivable inch from floor to ceiling, are shields. Shields of every make, every age, some ancient, some very fresh. You remember from a song that there is an often used phrase that if you cannot come home with your shield born on it, and it seems that when people bring their fallen adventurers or party members back to the well to be raised to the yawning portal in above, sometimes they are carrying their friends on their shields. But as you look around, Karis, you notice that there is something with a natural 20. You can see that these aren't perfectly, this isn't a puzzle piece. It's not perfectly fit along the walls. It's not wallpaper or there's not an arrangement beyond necessity. But you think you see something behind, perhaps written on the walls themselves, just between the seams, just in the torchlight.
I would love to go and investigate that further. Just to see if I can read it. I know a few languages.
Sure, yeah, you're able to clear the space and walk over. The rest of you would see Karis as she walks over towards the wall. What would you like to do when you get there? It's difficult because the light is seeping. It's not radiating in a straight line. This is the flickering of torchlight. This is not a flashlight, so you can't really control a beam. It's obscured still by the hung shields.
Hey, Kyogen, would you mind moving some of these shields for me? I think there's something behind the wall that we should take a look at.
Immediately recognizing the call of his good friend Karis, he slowly swaggers over to the wall and starts pulling them off of the wall. How high did you want me to remove these? And he just keeps going and going and going and going. Where it is with his arm length, he's reaching up to about 8, 9, 10 feet high.
Kyogen,
just pointing where it is, and you're definitely going above.
as soon as Kyogen begins to pull the shields, all of you witness the following. The shields rumble, and you see them all drop as if they have been released by some unseen hands. They clatter and crash to the sand, blowing bits of copper and sand and silt back toward you. And for a moment, even the torches are buffeted a bit as you are standing now amidst this same space, but instead of being encased with a wallpaper of shields, there is a rift or a ledge 2 to 3 feet high around this space where every shield has fallen. And when you look, the walls are covered with some type of graffiti, and you're not quite sure what it's written in.
I immediately looked at Karis, my head kind of hanging low. I'm sorry. I underestimated my strength again.
Oh no, don't worry. That wasn't your fault. It's all right.
Gorbrin's going to turn to Garnet and just quietly mutter under his breath, just, well, if they weren't expecting us already, they'd now know we're here.
Yeah, I think we found somebody who's louder than you.
He kind of grumbles at that, opens up a small little bag on his belt and starts pulling out some walnuts, crushing them in his hand, and just puts one in his mouth and just chews grumpily.
As all of you are standing there looking at this space now, and as the walls have been revealed, you all see the following written in large letters, a focal point of this graffiti that has taken hold here just beneath the yawning portal. And it says in common, "Beyond the pillar forest, the mad mage waits, casting spells behind magic gates." But as you take in these 2 lines of written word, you see different hands, all written in common, but penned by what appears to be different hands. Gorbrin, as you are turning and speak to Garnet and your eyes cast and catch the torchlight, you see written, "Stand down." Garnet, as you look at your friend, make the comment about having maybe found someone a little bit older, your eyes cross over the metallic or the metal-clad shoulder of your friend Gorbrin, and you see the word oubliette. As the rest of you look around, you see many different things. Karis, as you go to turn to read what you had uncovered or witnessed with that nat 20 between the seams of the then hung shields, you see that all it says is creature, fang face. Kyogen, as you look around now, upset with your apparent calamity that you've caused, you see shadow with teeth, shadows that weep. And finally, as the White Witch turns and looks around, she sees, "Welcome home."
Messing with the shields, revealing the writing, and bringing light about. You guys are all just a bunch of bad luck.
I don't know about anyone else, but it feels like that message was written for me.
Yeah, it does that. Don't worry about it.
You're not the only one. We need to find them.
Them?
Who are we finding?
The group of people that we're hunting. Remember the people in the black cloaks?
Yes. Let's
Didn't
go.
you remember when...
Oh, yes, them.
You did find information about them. That's what I sent you to go find, Kyogen.
I found our guide.
That's fair.
Surely she'll be able to help. But no black cloaks to my knowledge.
This is your home. What do you say we should do now?
I say we should stop standing around talking and get a move on.
Lead the way, then.
I do so.
As you look around, and as the witch has decided that there are reins that need to be taken here, you will look around and notice that there is simply one hallway, tunnel, very well traveled, leading out to the south.
Yeah. DnD just sort of side saddles her broom and floats towards the door or the passageway.
Wait, DnD, I have a question. Are you flying because you like to fly or because it's dangerous to walk?
Yes.
Please? Just both? You both like to fly and it's dangerous to walk.
It's always dangerous to walk.
Are there traps on this floor? Do I have to make sure that we don't step on them and that's why you're flying? Or is it just you just like to float on your cool broom? Because I mean, it's a cool broom and I totally get it.
Honestly, I've never actually walked on this floor.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Right, and just narratively,
Fun for you.
Dearna, you would know that, yes, you don't walk on the floor whenever you can help it, but two, this is a very active section, the uppermost section of Undermountain. There may be traps one day here, the next day gone and moved here. It is a organic, evolving place, but your yes answer is definitely apt in this moment. So as Diurne goes forward, you may roll me some stealth with advantage should you choose. Everyone else, I just need to know a marching order for no particular reason.
I would like to go first and check for traps.
Okie dokie. And by the way, just so you know, a good friend of the channel, Katie, has given everyone an advantage. So if you need a roll, an attack, a skill check, saving throw, you may do so one time with advantage. So keep that in your back burner. And everyone else that is watching, should you wish to affect the narrative, you may look straight down and see ways that you can make things worse. I mean, much better for the players.
Garrus will be behind Kyogen, whatever that will be.
I will follow the one who's scared to walk.
Not scared. I just oh, that one. Okay, sorry.
No, we can get you a broom once we're done, if you want one.
I mean, that would be cool, but it's kind of conspicuous. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that there were no things that are gonna kill you, because we just got here and it would look real bad for me if you died.
I appreciate it.
Witch lady, you said there are dangers on this level, yes?
There's dangers everywhere.
So with that answer, you see Kyogen sort of smash his fists together, and the obsidian bracelets that are around his wrists sort of clank out this sort of metallic black stone that wraps around his forearms and around his fists. And immediately you see his musculature sort of grow and strengthen as his stature seems to build. I am ready then.
Good.
I'll make sure that we don't let anyone come up behind us then.
So, my friends, the marching order is our witch, our thief, or is Kyogen in between?
I want to go first and check for traps. I mean,
Okay.
I guess, or in front of the people walking, at least.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll be immediately behind her.
Okay, Kyogen, and then we have Karis, and then Sir Gorbrin. For no apparent reason why I need to know any of this, you guys leave the room and begin your trek south. And so,
Sorry,
yes, sir.
before we completely leave, Gorb wants to take a look at the writing on the wall again for a brief moment. Is there anything that strikes him as odd here? Is there any kind of spell work going on?
What would you like to roll? Because different rolls will give you different insight. Yeah, I will let you even roll an insight if you want to see if you can try to discern the intent. I will give you Arcana if you want to try to discern whether or not there's some type of magical influence at work here. I will give you a straight perception or investigation if you just want to know what's going on.
He wants to know if there's any kind of arcane spell work going on, and if there's any sort of indication that any sort of spell has gone off. He knows about the alarm spell, and he just wants to know if there's any indication that they might have tripped it by coming down here.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, if you're looking for that specific, I will actually allow you to have a free Arcana check with advantage, but you won't glean anything else other than whether or not this was an alarm or some type of magical alert.
Okay.
Or you can just roll a base one, and I can give you whatever you happen to glean from that.
Damn.
Woo!
Damn.
Okay. As you are sitting here, Paladin, and Sir Gorbrin, you decide that there's something more to be seen here. There's something at play. The very first thing that happens is all of you get 5 additional advantages as you had been donated from the powers that be, as from on high, where Steph came through and gave us a 5 advantages to get things started here. So everyone, take your 5 advantages. You now have 6 in total. I will let you know this. Staff and TJ gave you guys 5. You have 6 in total. You can't carry any more than 10. These are here to be used, everyone, so make sure that you do that, as the Dungeon of the Mad Mage and Undermountain itself is a high death area. And as we are playing Meat Grinder rules,
Question with that.
helps.
Do we have to declare the advantage, or is it a reroll after a bad roll?
No, you have to declare.
Okay, all right.
Because then that would be 3 rolls. That would significantly help your odds. So please just declare when you want to use them. But now that we have that out of the way, with double natty 20s, even though you only rolled once, double nat 20s deserve a little bit more. So, Sir Gorbrin, as you are looking at the walls, you are able to glean the following. Not only was there some type of alarm or alert or pulse or magical conveyance set off, but this was left for you, for Kyogen, for the witch, for Karis, and for Garnet. The rest of the graffiti that had just been amblings and ramblings of various peoples that may have been down here looking for fallen friends melts away and disappears in an illusory puddle and wisp of magic. You see through it. These messages were for you. They were left for you. And they are not that old.
Wait.
Yes.
He turns to the group, just kind of rubbing his mustache. It seems that we've set off some sort of alarm. Besides the shields, there's magic here, and I need to know before we head in here. It seems that these messages, not only were they for us, but they were moments ago, so I would assume that at least one person of these in this group that we are trying to apprehend knows at least one of each of us.
That's weird.
I mean, we already knew that from the note. They
What?
knew who they were looking for.
Oh yeah, the note to you.
The one that said stand down. We know that they're expecting us. We have only a semi-element of surprise if they don't know that we're looking for them at that moment. But they know they're being chased. And I think they may even be scared of us.
No, I don't think they are.
Then why would they be trying so hard to make us stop? They should be scared. If they aren't already.
If it's not a coincidence that each one of these people knows at least one of us. To me, that screams that someone, maybe someone they answer to, knows who we are. Is trying to drag us each down here for some reason. There might be more dangers here than we expect, and there might be powers here that we do not know that are in play.
Want me to like cast a detect magic spell or something? Would that make you feel better?
I mean, I think it's probably fine. Like, this all seems really like, I mean, welcome home and like mean things about people's faces, stand down. Like, it all seems very basic. That's probably just like stuff people found like from hearing on the street or whatever.
Shiny
No.
human man, are you afraid?
I'm not afraid, sir.
You should really use his name. It's like kind of rude. I just call you like Big Scar Man. That's not very nice.
What's your name?
It's Sir Gorbrin Moonstar. Keogan.
Okay, Gorbs. So
I like that one.
you're not afraid, so why are you concerned?
Oh, he's
Kyogen's
just
not afraid.
he's just paranoid. That's what he does.
I am merely suggesting that this might be more than we are expecting. So we should proceed with caution.
I'm pretty sure we already were, but with someone as experienced as Deanna Hall with us, I think we'll do just fine.
And it looks like he's about to say something else. But then he just breathes out, just moves the torch and says, all right, let's move.
Look, if you're so worried, I will cast guidance on the person who is checking for traps. And she does so, and it's like she says something in like some weird forgotten language, and her eyes glow briefly, and then she touches Garnet on the shoulder.
And whatever the last ancient language syllable or word is, and we're just going to say it's Waka, much like, I don't know, Flava Flav would do for Chuck D back in the day, Hemelig the albino raven goes, Waka! And just stares as the spell is delivered.
Oh, thank you. That's really nice. Should I roll now for this traps?
Yes, go ahead and do so. You have advantages if you would like to use them. You are investigating. This is not, you can do, I will allow you to do a general perception if you're kind of
No, I want investigation. Give me that.
Okay.
Give me
absolutely.
that investigation.
You're gonna do it with advantage. You're gonna use one of those.
Yeah.
You're gonna use
Oh
Katie's
God,
advantage.
I have so many. So yes.
Okay.
Do you get
This
to
is
add
too
1d4?
much. Too much advantage. Okay. Oh
Nice.
man.
And you get to add 1d4 on top of that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So 19.
Okay, so with a 19, as you go through Diurna Hall, just in front of you, as silently gliding with that 17 stealth, you guys creep through the hallway, and as it turns from the south to the west, another room opens up for you as you see, and I will allow you to actually see. Get over here a little bit. You see a 40-foot wide room. And this room in and of itself is unremarkable, save for in each 10-foot increment, there is an alcove, like a recess, and there is a statue inside of some humanoid but malformed creature. And at every 10-foot interval, there's another humanoid but distinctly different creature. And they all seem to be facing one another as they extend into the distance. And with each of these 10-foot sections, and with each of these creatures sort of staring from north to south at one another, Garnet, as you come into the area and you're investigating the potential locations of even a gravity trap or a foot drop or something that could have tripped you up or sound an alarm, anything that shouldn't be here, you don't detect a trap, but you do detect a slight air current with your 19 coming from the south. And as you're looking, you see a skeleton of what looks like a kenku, and one of its arms, its flightless wings, cursed to ever walk the ground, and even in death now below it, one of the fingers is pointing towards one of the statues.
Is this map north to south?
It is.
Okay. Yeah, I will go look at the statue that our bird friend is looking at.
Okay, so as you get closer to this statue in particular, while it is this misshapen humanoid abomination perched upon the dais, it is just behind it that catches your attention as you see a very convincingly, a very expertly fitted line. And under your gaze and investigation, it takes you but a second to touch a stone, feel it give, and as you depress it, the entire wall pops an inch or two away, swinging upon a hinge unseen.
Hey, look, I found a secret door.
Diurne just nods a bit and flies over to the kenku to take its skull.
It does not resist.
I'm. It's not usually a good idea to mess with the remains of the dead.
I'll just talk to it later. Don't worry about it.
Corbin's going to look around, and there's going to be a slight flash of silver in his eyes as he's going to cast Divine Sense, looking at the statues and the room around them, trying to sense if there's any celestial fiends or undeads, or if anything has been affected by the Hallow spell.
As you look around, you don't see anything that would denote whether there be consecrated or disturbed or defiled land. You don't, your sense doesn't pick up anything. There's kind of a low level hum that is the same that you felt in the world above, in the City of Splendors, as if there's kind of there's something in an area that is congested as this that's always going to ping a paladin's divine sense, but you've become able to kind of sift through that, much like a radar operator would, and you know that in your immediate vicinity, you're clear.
He's gonna fold his arms, look at the corpse, and look to the pointed finger and then to the wall. We're being led somewhere. Garnet, check the other statues. This might be a false lead.
I mean, it really sounds like they want us to find us. Want to find us, but sure, I'll do it.
Thank you.
And I go look at all the statues.
Okay, roll me another investigation check and let me know if you want to use advantage. Can
I might as well, or else I'm just gonna forget that I have them. 25. I know everything about these statues. Tell me who made them.
With a 25, you are able to look through and you realize, whether it be by a bit of lore or perhaps the cut of somebody's jib that you're looking at, these appear to be demons, different kinds. And as you're looking at this hierarchy of the demon caste system, you realize that on the northern wall, you find an even, if compared to the one on the southern wall, this one's a true secret door. The others seem to be a bit too easy to find.
Hey, boss, you were right. I found a secreter door. Good instinct.
Also, as everybody else is standing around here, and it's just taking Garnet a few minutes, she's very good at what she does, and she's doing it expertly, but it takes some time. Off to the west, you see that this room continues and seems to dip down. And as the torchlight continues, and as you look into that area, you notice that it seems to lower, and there seems to be pillars in the next room to the west.
Just activates her Eldritch Sight, which she can do at will, which gives her just the effects of detect magic.
Diurna, as you're looking around, you don't see that anything in this current room is resonating any type of magic, but through the northern door, you catch the faint aura of something. That door that Garnet hasn't opened yet, now that she's revealed it, you see almost like as if someone's shining a bright light behind it. It's just creeping around the edges.
Can I tell what kind of school of magic it is?
From this distance, you cannot. This is just simply a ping.
Try getting closer, and I will float up high on my broom and try to sort of look at the light through cracks near the top, because I'm figuring that it's less likely for the tops of things to be trapped.
As you fly up around the top, this door has yet to be opened, or this portal has yet to be breached. And as you get closer, you start to see some of those telltale hues that denote particular essences in the weave. And Diurna, you would know too that the weave is acting strangely. It's different, vague a lot of times, much more so than it's been for you, who has quite a healthy relationship with magic. But as you peek through there, you get the slight taste of enchantment, but you're not sure.
I'd be careful with this door. Dearnay says there's some enchantment magic behind it. You know, your standard sort of evil stuff.
Okay.
Although you'll probably be fine.
Do I have to roll again to check for traps, or can we use my investigation as trap check as
You already
well?
no. Yep, when you found it, as soon as you identified it with a 25, you know everything about this door, so you're good to go.
All right. I'm gonna look at everybody and be like, does anybody else want to open the door?
I'm pretty sure someone with a healthy amount of fey blood in them should be the one messing with enchantment magic.
Fine. Yeah, I'll open the door.
Okay, as the door opens, quietly, you know the catch, you know the fall, and it swings open, revealing a room to the north. It's a much larger room than the one that you were in previously, and this one seems to possess a light on its own. And you see in the middle of the room what looks like a mannequin. I'd like everyone else to roll perception checks for me as the witch and the thief are figuring out this new room. So if the knight, the bard, and the big guy can roll.
Just want to mention, because of my shield, which is the Sentinel shield for those in chat, I always have advantage on perception checks because I need it. Because I'm not very good at it.
So with a 23 then, as, no, what did you get? Oh, 18. Okay, highest then would be yours with an 18.
Mm-hmm.
Fire up. Something just went to sleep. So as you are all sitting there watching kind of both the world around you and your friends open this door, it doesn't take much to hear coming from the west, "I told you it was right down this way!"
We have company. Hide.
I go behind something, a statue.
And I'm gonna immediately put out the torch and try to find a good place to hide with plate armor.
Okay,
Kyogen,
so
Kyogen
this
immediately goes into stealth mode.
this begs a question. Do you put out the torch and then hide, or do you hide then put out the torch?
I hide them, then put out the torch, because otherwise I can't see very well.
Okay. So when you hide, here's what I want you to do. Roll me I'll take either an acrobatics or an athletics, as you're not being stealthy, you're moving quick, and you can see that there are hiding places here, but you're gonna have to daredevil this stuff. When you get where you think you're hidden and put out the torch, you're not gonna be able to readjust.
Okay.
So
I'm going to use my advantage on this then.
Okay.
25.
Oh! So with a strength and speed that is second to none, Sir Gorbrin gets where he needs to be, douses the light. The rest of you are thrust into darkness. What are you going to do?
Gonna zoop up towards the ceiling and sort of go behind a statue And I will use Awakened Mind to talk to Gorbin in his mind and say, I will let you know when they are in position for us to strike upon them.
Can I respond back? Or is this a one-way thing?
Different DMs rule differently. I think it's up to Greg here.
I will allow. I've had this question before, and this is how I've responded to it. You don't know how to do this. However, you do know how to feel. So what I am saying is, if you can send this back to Diurna, you can send back an emotion, confidence, fear, confusion, but you cannot send back an yes or no or any type of verbal response. You're not trained to do this. But you can respond emotionally.
Is mercy emotion?
To me, yes. I'm not sure if the witch is going to know it, but yeah.
I just want to put out a vibe of like, don't hit him. Don't kill him. So he's just going to be like mercy in his mind or whatever. Like he'll probably try to like say it in his mind, but she doesn't hear the words. I guess the emotion behind it though.
You would get the connotation of like, however Diurna would, translate this as being, maybe we shouldn't kill them type of vibe, but
yes, we should kidnap and interrogate them. You're right.
So what are the rest?
Just a sigh, a brain sigh.
You get a really good like pure cut of frustration. You get like it's almost delicious. So as you're floating in the ceiling,
I was not aware you were afraid of the dark.
Okay, so what Garnet, Karis, Kyogen, what are you doing?
I'm gonna stealth.
Okay, roll them stealths. I know that Kyogen already did so. Wow, that's a stealthy stealth. Look at you guys. 24, 17. And then that was a 15 for Karis?
Yes.
Okay. So you all get into position, and those of you with dark vision see the following. You see two small forms walk in from the west. They seem to be carrying two large, almost like Santa sacks, and they're dragging them along the floor. And the one in the lead seems to be taller and thinner than the silhouette behind. But as your kind of gray-toned dark vision comes into play, it requires no roll to identify two goblins as they walk up. And the tall, thin one goes directly up to the Kenku skeleton and says, "It was right here! I saw it right here! Did you take it?" And the little one goes, "No."
Awakened Mind to Gorbin, they're goblins.
Yeah, you can all hear this. They begin to fight a bit, and as they fight, those of you with dark vision can see that they kind of shuffle, each of them blaming the other. Their bags are grabbed, and as their bags are grabbed, they spill, and you see heads in various states of decay, most of them skulls, but there's a couple of them that still have a little bit of wrapping on them, kind of muster about in here, but mostly you see splashes of white.
They're murder goblins. Should we attack them?
Like immediately, Kyogen sees this and sees these severed heads and kind of has flashbacks from his youth from 7 years ago with his village, and immediately he identifies these beings as evil and moves through the shadows to engage.
So
we're fighting.
just like so in a okay, so Gorbin can't see, right?
I would like to use prestidigitation to relight his torch.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. So as like he's not expecting that, so he's trying to cast the sleep spell at the same time in a 20-foot radius around the voices. Is there any way he can cast sleep on these goblins?
Well, the easiest way to figure all this out is I would like my 3 people that are acting, Diurna, Kyogen, and Gorbrin, to all roll initiative. And according to your initiative is whether or not the torch is lit, whether or not Kyogen engages, or whether or not there's a sleep spell cast.
Okay. All right. So I have advantage because of my shield. So
You'd better.
Come on. Oh God. Okay.
Okay, so as this goes with a surprise round just for the folks here, we have the light flares alive from the torch and has that kind of squinty-eyed effect that you would get whenever the spectrum changes for all of you that are experiencing that. Kyogen, you were already dead set on your sprint towards these goblins. You see them and they see you as you round the corner, this massive creature, and they throw their arms up and drop to their knees. They are carrying no weapons other than crude. One of them has a crude club and the other one looks like a rusted dagger that has half a hilt cracked off of it. And they both throw their arms up, and the one that seems to have been doing most of the speaking says, "Don't kill us!"
So Kyogen charging forward was getting just really that close to getting into a frothing rage. And as they drop to their knees, throwing everything and begging for mercy, he sort of slides to a stop. This towering figure above them, maul in hand, getting ready to just bring down the hammer, literally. His head cocks to the side a bit, looking at the fact that they don't really have any weapons. He growls towards them. "What are you doing here, beasts?"
Roll an intimidation check
Okay.
with advantage.
Oh, by auto advantage. So it'd be 14.
Okay, so with a 14, you bear witness as you deliver your line to the formation of 2 puddles beneath both of these creatures as their hands are just shaking. "We're sorry! I didn't know it was yours!"
Gorbs, come up here.
I assume at this point the spell goes off for prestidigitation, and he just
It
goes
went
like,
off. Yep.
Right. And he's gonna come around from his hiding spot, look to the two goblins on the ground.
Yeah, they're on their knees. Like one of them, the smaller one that's a little rounder, is almost like genuflecting towards Kyogen, and the one that's thinner is just, you can see that they appear to be crying as they're just clasping and begging, "Please, please."
Do I think this is... Does their body language seem genuine? Or is this just trying to placate us until they have a moment to, like, book it out of here?
Roll an insight check.
And I'm going to do so with one of my advantages.
Question as well.
16.
Yes. Question for the witch.
Do I recognize these goblins?
Roll me. I'll either take a survival or I will take a history check.
History's slightly better. Not 20.
Oh, you've run across these two before. These two are skull collectors. You don't know what their names are, but you've run across in your dealings here with the upper levels of Undermountain, creatures that have fallen seem to always, after a certain state of decomposition, lose their skulls. And you know that there are peddlers that come down here because the skull in and of itself fetches a good price, especially for creatures that are not necessarily something that you would find in the world above. And these two appear to be not terribly great at the trade, but prolific. They don't have unique skulls, they just have a lot of them.
Tierney sort of just floats down next to them and says, so we finally meet up close.
The one that's thinner looks and goes, "Oh, it's the witch. We're sorry, we didn't know."
Do you find any interesting skulls?
What you looking for? He immediately snaps into, like, peddler mode. So, I got some stuff here. And he starts to, like, you see him scooping skulls that definitely aren't from his sack, but have fallen out of his friend's sack. And his friend is still genuflecting towards Kyogen. "I have this," and he holds up what looks like some type of humanoid skull. Human, half-elf, can't say at this particular point, but
you don't want to offend the present company.
Oh, right, what am I thinking? And he puts it away. And then he pulls out another one, and this one's got a low, kind of like the jaw's still in place on this one with a underbite. Orc?
I point my maul towards him. "Show the witch what's in your bag, little one."
He grabs it by the seam at the bottom and just does one of those. And there's skulls and everything that was in the bag is now out of the bag and at his feet. These guys never killed anything that was in any of these bags, you would wager a bet. However, they have collected quite a bit. Most of these appear to be humanoid. The most unique one that you can see in all of this is a large, it has massive eye sockets in it, and it seems to have almost a negative brain pan kind of area. And you see him reach down and he lifts it up a bit. He goes, "Ha! Bugbear!"
Peace, Kieran. I would put away your weapon. These seem to be scavengers, not murderers.
Been around here quite recently. They could give us a little update on the current configuration.
Yes and yes.
Introductions are in order, I suppose.
They're skull collectors. They collect skulls and sell them.
Well, Sir Goblins, may I have your names? I am
Don't
Sir
just go
Goblin.
around asking people's names.
No, you should. You should. You need all the names you can get.
No. I mean,
May takes out her book and is ready to take notes.
see, that's why you just don't go around asking people's names.
No, you should always get people's names. Go
I'll
on.
tell you my name.
What's your name, honorable sir?
With this banding about of sir, once again, as the peddler in him popped out, so too did a bit of ego, and the tall, thin one looks directly at you, Gorbrin, and says, "My name is Sir Peddle."
Well, Sir Peddle, it is an honor to meet you. And he extends a hand as a handshake.
So with that, Kyogen sort of like breaks off from the group and wanders off into the shadow. And as he passes by Gorbrin, sort of just gently brushes shoulder to shoulder with him and quietly states, "If he is a sir, and you are a sir. It speaks volumes for the quality of the title. And moves on into the shadows, casting as much shade as he can along the way.
Sir Piddle will spit into his hand, wipe it off on his coat, and there.
Can I prestidigitation the hand?
Sure, go ahead, but roll an intimidation check when you do so.
I'm really good at intimidation. 12.
So for a moment, the goblin, as he notices, lines in his hands that have been filled with dirt and other type of refuse, clear, and then the hand is taken before he can completely flip out.
He takes it and just nods his head, ignoring what the barbarian said, not even phased, is going to say, well, it's nice to meet you, and what is your name, sir? And he's gonna look to the other goblin.
He stands up, and the kind of smaller and stouter one, as with Kyogen's departure, no longer has anyone to kneel or bow to. He turns and looks up, and he says, "Groin."
Oh, groin. And he's gonna do this thing where he still has Pibble's hand, so he's going to cross around and extend his hand to him. Just kind of get them both in a quick handshake.
Yep, they take it. They are impressed with the cut of your jib. They seem to be relaxing. Groin is even getting out some type of very beat up pipe. They seem to be comfortable with working with the other races, as this is part of their trade, and they realize that they're not going to die right now, which is a good thing. So as this is all going on, and there's this little kumbaya moment with the two goblins, Karis and Garnet. Garnet, are you still holding position at the other door? And Karis, you hid, but you have yet to reveal yourself. What are you guys doing?
Garnet has been saying all of this from her hiding place too. It's just a voice.
Right.
But yeah, I think she's kind of bored. So, can I want to see if I can find Karis and with gestures be like, want to go look at the mannequin?
I just nod.
Okay. So you all creep into the room with the mannequin, and as you do so, how are you going in?
I'm letting Garnet go first. Absolutely.
Yeah, I will continue. I mean, okay, let's be honest here. I'm a rogue with expertise in investigation. I'm checking for traps literally all the time.
I got you. I have your passive investigation up. So
okay. Yeah. So I'm obviously checking for traps, but carefully and still kind of quietly. But I want to go look at the mannequin.
Okay. So the two of you, as you creep in, we're going to use the roles that you guys had in place before, because this is kind of taking place simultaneously with the questioning of the two goblin headhunters. And as you go into the room, you notice that several things are at play here. The closer you get, where at first this sort of looked like what they would call an armor mannequin, probably something that Sir Gorbrin is very accustomed to. It's a mannequin used to place heavy armor, whether it be splint or plate mail. It's just a rack to kind of set it out to dry, that type of thing. But when you get closer to it, you realize that there is a deeper aesthetic in play. You see that there are finely carved arms, even so far as to add musculature. You see a bicep, you see the horseshoe of a tricep. This is well beyond what would be needed for a simple armorer stand. And the closer you get to it, you realize that it is finely carved. You can see fingernails. You can see the lines on these fingers as one hand is extended behind. The features of this, it's facing away from you now that you can get close and have a little bit more of your natural vision taking play and pulling out some of the defining characteristics of it. And before you can get around to the front, you do realize that there's some type of weapon stuck in what would be the chest of this mannequin, but you haven't turned around yet to see either weapon or what would be the front of this mannequin.
But is it a mannequin or is it someone who's been turned to stone?
It is definitely not stone.
Take a little peek.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will allow both of you to roll either perception or investigation. If there is something that you would like to specifically investigate, let me know, and then let me know how you are going to do so.
I want to investigate. So we know it's magic. I want to, is there some way that I can tell if this is like some kind of golem or like that it's going to spring to life or something?
Call Gianni over to take a closer look.
Yeah,
Well, I don't want to disrupt your shopping.
So as the other three are out there, I would let you know this. If you want to do something that would basically check its arcane nature, I will allow you to investigate for that, but it would be a higher DC. You're looking for something you're not necessarily really proficient in noticing, but I will definitely let you do it.
All right. Yeah, I'll do it.
And if anybody wants to use advantages, ooh, 21 nat.
Don't
I like it.
need it.
You've learned a few things. You've learned a few things around old Gorbo.
Oh, yes. It's
And
definitely you.
Yeah, right. And what about Karis? Karis, how are you going about this?
I would like to roll an investigation check. I would like to see if I can determine if this figure was probably dead, and if the death was because of the weapon in them, or if it was their current form.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, you're looking to see if this is some type of like trapped or ensorcelled or transmuted.
Ensorcelled. Yes.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, go right ahead. Look at you. You two with the 21s.
Oh, we're twins.
Yay!
Okay. All right, twins. Here's what you figure out. When you go around the outside of this mannequin, a couple of things become readily apparent. One, this is just a carving. Whether or not it was ever animated, it's difficult to say, but Garnet, you don't uncover any type of arcane symbology that you usually would find on some type of animated creature. You know, something to be able to activate it, something to be able to make it carry out specific tasks. None of that's apparent, but the craftsmanship is apparent when you come around the corner. The sword is jabbed just below the sternum, right where, you know, the belly would begin. And as you are both looking with your 21 twinsies, it's almost at a simultaneous moment that you both kind of look from ground to sword, checking everything. And as you both look up, you stare into the perfectly rendered face of Karis.
Garnet? I
Karis?
haven't looked in a mirror in a while.
Yeah, no, that's definitely you. That's, weird.
You know, I've upset a lot of people in my time. I didn't think it was this much.
I mean, honestly, I'm kind of impressed
like?
that you upset somebody so much that they like spent all of this time carving you and then
I'm
stabbing
a little flattered.
Yeah, it's like pretty good handiwork.
Mm-hmm. I think I really want to meet them so I can ask them why, and then, you know, probably kill them for probably wanting to kill me. They're really taking out a lot of anger there.
I mean, maybe
well.
Maybe they stabbed your mannequin, like an effigy of you, so they wouldn't stab you in real life. Like maybe they just got it out of their system.
I think I want to stab them now, though.
I mean, that's fair. Or maybe you could find out who they are and then stab a sculpture of them, and then they can know how it feels.
We will just have to examine our options.
As the options for potential voodoo dolls go back and forth between Garnet and Karis, I would like Kyogen, Gorbrin, and Diurna Hall to roll perception checks to see if both the quitting of the space by your other two friends has gone noticed or not, keeping in mind what they rolled to get out of here.
I'm just so distracted by these skulls.
I mean, they're pretty good skulls, to be honest with you. I mean, there's nothing if you're looking at, if these were baseball cards, there's no Rookie of the Year card in here, but there's some good ones. You know, I mean, you always have bugbear skulls are pretty good, but and as Diurna, you're looking through all of this, Hemelig is kind of looking down, and you can see that as the beak is going in and out of certain eye sockets of the skulls, everyone else would look at this as mere avian investigation. Diurna, you'd probably know that he's looking for something to eat, but as the other two, Kyogen and Gorbrin, as you turn and look around, it's almost as one that you notice that your friends are no longer where they took to hide, where they had taken refuge in the shadows.
Seeing this, a little bit concerned, but not overly so. Gorbin's going to look to Kyogen, kind of raise an eyebrow, and just kind of nods his head over to where their friends used to be. Just in a kind of, can you check it out?
Where is Kioris? Karis, where are you? And immediately charges towards where the open room that we were in.
I was going to say, believe it or not, you guys hear that. So you can definitely hear the approach of the Twin Towers.
Probably shouldn't shout, Kyogen, but we're in here if you really must know. We're fine.
But yeah, he sort of storms in the room. He sees them investigating. And he sees a statue of his friend Karis with the sword
Don't get mad!
stabbed into it. And he looks at it, and he looks at her, and he looks at it, looks at her. No. And he just grabs the sword and yanks it out of the statue.
Okay.
Okay.
As the sword comes out, we're going to say that, Diurna, as you saw all this, you can trail in behind them or stick with the goblins if you want to continue your... I just need to know your positioning for all of this.
I'll probably trail in behind him because I remember that that's the room with the enchantment magic, and she wants to make sure no one does anything stupid with the enchantment magic.
Like take out a sword.
And she's gonna let Hemelig just make his own choices with whatever skull he likes.
Hemelig is just, if a raven can peacock, he's doing it. As he looks around, and the goblins seem to be taking his strutting as official doctrine. So they're, well, this one's very nice too. There's the conversation continues. And so, Diurna, you get in just in time to see Kyogen pull this sword out of this mannequin.
And can I see if the sword is the thing that has the enchantment magic on it?
Oh, well, yeah, but a couple things happen as you roll in and the sword comes out. You're pretty sure that the enchantment magic came from the sword and or the mannequin because there is a visible non-weave spectrum flash of green light. As that goes off, I would like everybody who's in the room to roll a Constitution saving throw for me, please. And I'll remind you all you have advantage gifted to you from the Benevolent Legion of Chat.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Gorbrin has just sat down on the stone and is just offering some of his own cherry tobacco to the goblin with the pipe. Just like, it's like, so.
I'm using advantage.
He's right down beside you smoking that. You're the nicest human I've ever met. And they're just, you have a lifelong friend in Piddle. Okay, so advantages. Who used one?
I used one.
Okay.
Kyogen does not need advantage on Constitution checks.
Okay. So, as all of this goes down, you all manage, you feel queasiness hit your stomachs as it begins to turn and roil for a moment, and you almost feel as if the contents are going to be emptied. But you're able to, the nausea quickly fades, and as you're standing there, you look around, and Diurna, you know what to look for here. And as your eyes adjust to the green flash that went off, you see that this creature, who you can only see from the back, this wooden effigy, turns and now reveals the same profile as Karis. And as that profile is revealed, it looks directly at Karis, and it says, "Catch them. They're just ahead."
Can I insight check that?
You can certainly try.
That sounds fake. That sounds like a tempt. And I will not have it, except I probably will. Where is that? Okay. Oh, that's not my best.
Yeah, may I also insight check that? Because that's...
Can I use
that's
my
not fake.
advantage for that, please?
Yeah, yes, and yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh,
Twinsies!
As it talks, can
I
Kyogen
didn't
just
want to
smash
use
it?
I didn't want to use my advantage for that, by the way.
I did not take one off of you. So,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so with the 20 twinsies now, if you guys roll a 19 next each, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. So as you both listen to these words go off and you wonder for the briefest of moments, is this true? Is this real? Is this something is this a trap? Karis, you know within your soul, because these are the words that you've delivered to yourself in dreams, this is the truth. It's a message sent perhaps not by anyone, but by the wood itself. And Garnet, as you listen to it, it almost causes a shiver. Not of fear, not of self-involvement or anything like that. It's just chilling to hear something with such conviction from the mouth of a wooden puppet. Kyogen, you could strike. How would you like to do so?
Immediately, as it looks towards Karis, and I go into protective mode because Karis has always reminded me of my little sister, and I look towards Karis, and I look towards the mannequin, and I just pull out my maul and recklessly attack the mannequin, swinging towards it.
And is your maul, of course, two-handed, right?
Yes, correct.
As you go to withdraw your maul, you realize the sword in your hand does not leave your hand.
I'm just kind of looking at it oddly, and at this point, I'm just like, screw it, and I take the sword and just shove it into the mannequin's head.
It enters easily as it pierces the wood again. What animation there was in this message, this puppet seems to have been used up. What would you like to do, Kyogen?
That was evil.
No, it was the truth. I mean, sure, sometimes the truth is the one we want to hear, and sure, sometimes it might be evil. But what we're looking for is down here. And we will find them. And I will catch them. We should get Gorbrin. We need to move on. We have things to do, people to see.
Oh yes, where is our courageous leader?
Oh, he's making friends. How sweet.
Dearne was like starting to raise her hand, but then she like puts it down.
No, what is it?
You were asking where the leader was.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Kyogen like audibly chuckles at this. This is great.
While this is going on, can Gorbrin get a small scene with the goblins? Because he was wanting to try to get information out of them, if possible.
Yes, the one thing I wanted to say is, Kyogen, what do you do with the sword?
Well, I assume it's firmly wedged in the mannequin at the moment.
It is, yes.
Looking back to De'Aaron Hall, is the sword something we should keep?
I'll float closer and investigate it more carefully using my eldritch sight.
What can that tell you?
It's basically I can see magic within 30 feet of me, and I can see a faint aura around any creature or object that bears magic, and I learned the school of magic, if any, but I'm also wanting to use it to sort of help me do an arcana check on this.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that arcana check for me, please.
Thank you. I will take advantage on this.
Go right ahead.
20. Total.
It's cursed.
Yeah, that's cursed. You should probably not have touched that. No touching magic things without my permission.
Kyogen, it's not coming out of the wood or from your hand.
We need to remove curse right away. Can anyone here remove curses? Any of you?
I can dispel magic if you think that would help.
I just gotta get rid of this. I just gotta get it unstuck from his hand.
Stupid, puny sword.
So, Kyogen, as you're sitting there, your hand just won't open around this stupid sword, and now you can't pull it out of the mannequin that it's firmly attached to. As the pipe smoke kind of creeps around outside with both Sir Gorbrin and Sir Piddle, as the knights, both human and goblin, engage in the greatest of all pastimes, the parlay. And as they are sitting there getting ready to speak, there is a roar from the shadows beyond in the west, deep and hearty. And the roar ends with a laugh. And Sir Piddle urinates. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we will end this session of Dungeon of the Mad Mage, as we're 2 rooms in, someone's cursed, and you've met some goblins. But with that being said, before we get around to outros and we talk to this fantastic cast, I am going to turn it over to my friend Jason, who has got some things to talk about. He has perhaps the greatest sweepstakes in the history of the community of Dungeons and Dragons about ready to be revealed. So without further adu, let us talk to Jason. What do you got? Someone out here's about ready to get real happy.
Yeah, and to be honest, because I haven't seen him in chat, at least I would think he'd use his Twitter handle. So yeah, as a lot of you know, I am at Jason T DnD DM on Twitter, and for the last month and a half, I've been doing this sort of follower giveaway that's kind of exploded. That basically was for an alt art core set of books. The limited edition ones you can only find in the store. And there's also a set of Die Hard Dice Mythica dice along with a tray. There is also a amazing 2-month subscription to Sirenscape for all of your sound effects needs as a DM. Then to top it off, who doesn't want a legendary bundle from D&D Beyond? I mean, that's like the be-all, end-all of what you would need as a DM, because you just keep getting more stuff forever. So yeah, it's ended up materializing and becoming way bigger than I expected, and I ended up garnering close to an additional 2,500 followers out of it. And tonight, I made the drawing yesterday, and tonight we announced the winner, and Greg has been amazing enough to allow us to host the winner announcement on the channel. Hopefully you guys that have tuned in will stick around for more of this wickedly amazing cast, and even more so DM, who has the descriptors of a thesaurus of never-ending quality. It is unbelievably amazing, the privilege of being on this show. So hopefully you guys will continue to tune in. But yes, the winner of the Ultimate DMing Gaming Bundle is Wongo. And I believe we have a graphic for that.
Wongo, there we go. Congrats to Wongo.
Wongo, yes. Somebody who's been very verbal with spreading about everything with my Twitter and all sorts of stuff, and sharing things, and not that other people weren't. Like I said, it was totally 100% random. Essentially, put names in a hat and pull. So, yeah, Wongo is the winner of the Ultimate Legendary DM and Gaming Bundle. Congratulations, good sir. I'm sure you will put it to excellent use. And also, I would like to say, of the followers I saw that were most active on the channel and contributed to the chat the most in regards to donations with cheers, Staffin, TJ, I would like to also offer you a Die Hard Dice dice tray of your choice, your color of your choice. So pick any color you want, let me know, and I will get it into your hands as soon as possible, good sir.
Fantastic. And just the best way to end off another wonderful, arguably the greatest sweepstake that there's ever been. You're going to have to top yourself. You're going to have to give away Chris Perkins with the next one or something.
I know, right? A personal session with Chris Perkins. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's about as good as it gets. But anyway, I'm going to go around and talk to the rest of this crew. Congratulations to Wongo and Staffin. Let us talk to everyone. Let's drop straight over to Dirna. Kika, how are you doing? And where can we find you online, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing great. Really excited to be playing with this group of people. The best place to honestly find me is just on Twitter at twitter.com/KikaVO, KIKKAVO, because I'm on a bunch of different streams, and that's the easiest way to keep track of all of that nonsense. So, see you around.
Fantastic, fantastic. And then we will drop straight down to Lauren. Lauren, Garnet, you found the room that got Keogan's hand stuck to a sword. We owe you some type of thanks for How are you doing, and where can we find you online?
I'm okay. I was trying to warn Keogan, but I was muted, and then he was just like, I do the thing. And I was like, oh no. Yeah, I'm Lauren. I'm JL_NiceGirl on Twitter. I play a whole bunch of games, all on different channels. I have a tweet pinned. It does not have Mad Mage on it yet, but everything else is currently accurate. I also run a podcast called Too Many RPGs. It is a show where we talk to creators and fans of actual play shows about the shows that they love and why they love them. We've featured Greg's show Project Athena on before. We are taking a break for December, but our new episode should come out in January. It's going to be very good. This is a great time to catch up on our backlogs. You can find that Too Many RPGs anywhere you get podcasts, or follow us at Too Many RPGs on Twitter.
Fantastic. And everybody, anytime somebody's talking on here, links are in chat, so please follow up. I put Too Many RPGs in there as well. It is a really fun, great podcast with two people. Well, I mean, Ethan's all right, but I mean, Lauren's awesome, so
he's not here right now, so you can tell. He's asleep.
I'm kidding. I love him. Okay, let's go over. Yeah, let's go over to another person I love. My friend Chorus, how are you doing, and where can we find you online?
I'm doing great. This is already fun. I can already tell this is going to be a ride. Just playing the paladin who's just trying to be like, all right, let's take it slow, and then everybody else is like, it's going to be great. But I am Koros RPG. You can find me on twitter.com and twitch.tv/Koros RPG. I like to talk about DnD, TRPGs. I'm just getting back into Magic on stream, which I haven't played in probably about like 6 years or so. So that's been fun. But you can find me on Sundays, where I'm going to be, where I run as DM for the Soul Bear RPG Twitch channel, a game called The Shattered Eye, which is a 5e homebrew world that I've made myself, which is a sword and sorcery Roman Greek myth inspired romp that is very meat grindery. So if you're interested in seeing a lot of death and a lot of mystery, come check that out. We just had our first player death last week, and we are now going to see the fallout of that this Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come check that out.
Fantastic. And once, of course, the blood gets in the water and the PCs start to go down, there's really not much you can do but just ride it. It's like surfing. And then we go over to our resident bard, who there was a Pinocchio today. Karis, how did you enjoy it, and where can we find you online?
I loved this so much. I'm so wildly excited to be here. Pretty much the only other place I am is on Twitter, so that's Blinbee, BLINNEBEE. I might be on another stream in the new year. That's still a little TBD. Other than that, I am going to be one of the amazing contributors for Ashley Warren's Uncaged Anthology. So that's a series, 4 volumes of 5e compatible one-shots that all feature a unique female monster. That's going to be released in sequential order starting January. So keep an eye out for that. Follow Ashley Warren RPG on Twitter. It's going to be fabulous. Lots of art, lots of maps, lots of stories. You'll enjoy it. I pinky promise.
Pinky promise?
Yeah.
Sweepstakes and a pinky promise. What? It can't
Really
get any better than that. Love it, love it, love it. And we will make sure that all that gets up in the chat so you guys can quickly link and follow all those great things in the future. And finally, last but certainly not least, Jason, how are you doing, my friend? And where can we find you online?
Again, at Jason T, D&D DM on Twitter. That's mainly where I'm at, unless you see me in the 5th edition Facebook group. For the most part, I'm mainly active on Twitter, doing giveaways and just chatting D&D and terrain and all sorts of stuff in general. I will say, look for something huge coming next year. I mean, huge, huge, huge. I have this penchant for organizing amazing events. I was the lead DM and gaming coordinator for the initial D&D in the castle, and I am the events coordinator for probably what will end up being the largest D&D charity stream in history. And the amount of talent that we have aligned for this is going to absolutely blow your minds. So free up some time in May, free up some dollars in May, and expect a large public push come January.
Fantastic, my friend. Make sure we know all about that so we too can promote here on the channel and all over the lovely internets. As for me, my name is Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and on the Twitters. Thank you so much for joining us for the first episode of Dungeon of the Mad Mage. We are going to be delving further and faster in this streamed session. I wanted to make sure that we had just the appropriate bit of horror thrown in at the beginning of this dungeon because it has all the fun things that are lovely places like White Plume Mountain. You know, we're gonna get into all those, just that fun house of horrors type feel. So thank you all for being here. I will let you know that we did hit our first tier for the chat vote at the beginning of next session. The chat will be able to vote for the following, which it's called Dreams in the Dark. Which one of our PCs will have the ability to experience a full long rest at a moment's notice? It is a very powerful boon, especially for spellcasters and anybody that might be at 1 hit point. So make sure that whenever we start up next time, I will throw that poll up in chat. Everyone that is here can vote on it. Halfway through the session, we will award it, and then we will see how it goes from there. But until next week, please, everybody, follow once again all of these lovely folks as I throw their links up in chat, because I say this a lot and I mean it a lot. I am blessed to be able to play with and play and DM for truly kind people. It's a blessing to be able to surround myself with positivity. I appreciate it. It is something that I want everyone to experience, and I can vouch for each of the ones that you see surrounding me in this lovely horseshoe. They are kind people, and so follow them, and I guarantee that your day will get a little bit brighter. Mine certainly has. And so, until we see you again, I will tell what I always say. You can't always roll nat 20s, unless you're this group, but you can always role play. We'll see you next time.